Hello, I'm Stephen Blank. I'm the head of the Freemasons in Cheshire. My official title is Right Worshipful Provincial Grand Master for the province of Cheshire. And I'm here to tell you something about Freemasonry in the hope that perhaps you'll be interested enough to want to join, or at the very least you'll know more about what it is that we do. Hello there. Would you like to come in and see the main lodge room at our Masonic Centre at Christleton? This is it, stretching before you. I'll show you around if you'd like to follow me. On our left we have the secretary's table. He has a light so he can take a note of everything that's been going on. Up here in what we call the northeast corner is where the senior members of the lodge sit. There'll be people who've already been through the Worshipful Master's chair. This is the Worshipful Master's chair. This is what you hope to attain when you join a lodge. And you attain it in strict order of joining. There's no sort of fighting for votes or anything like that. Assuming you want to go through the chair, you'll attain it in a period of time. A certain number of years will bring you to this chair, and for a year you're then in charge of this lodge. You're called the Worshipful Master. And once you've been through the chair, instead of just being a brother, you'll become known as Worshipful Brother. Moving around the lodge, the lodge officers and other past masters will sit here. And this chair here is the chair of the junior warden. That's the chair that you'll sit in 2 years before you become the Worshipful Master. And you'll have various duties, various parts of the ceremony that you have to perform as junior warden. Once you've served your year as junior warden, you move to this chair over here, which is the chair of the senior warden. And in that chair, you can watch the Worshipful Master opposite you and pay very strict attention to what it is that he's doing, because next year you'll be doing that job. And hopefully that gives you some insight into what our lodge room looks like. It looks very different when it's full of people all dressed in stuff like this. Many people ask me how they should get involved in Freemasonry if they are interested. There are a couple of ways of doing that. Obviously, if you know somebody who is a Freemason, talk to him and he'll introduce you to his lodge and the relevant people in that lodge. If you don't know anybody who's involved in Freemasonry, we have our own website, cheshiremasons.co.uk, and there are guidelines there as to how to approach us. Again, we'll put you in touch with a particular lodge in your area. They will meet up and explain what goes on. There's also the UGLE website, the United Grand Lodge of England website, which also has guidelines as to how you can approach Freemasons about joining. But if you were to go there and you live in Cheshire, you would be directed to us. There are about 4,600 Freemasons in Cheshire, meeting in lodges, as we call them, all over the province, ranging from the Wirral on one side through Chester, Stockport, Hyde on the other side, down to Crewe, Sandbach, Nantwich as well. This is our tercentenary year. In 2017, Grand Lodge celebrates 300 years, and we're taking the opportunity to get the message out, to explain to people more about what Freemasonry actually does. And I wanted to go on camera, as it were, and tell people in Cheshire in particular what we're doing in Cheshire and what Freemasonry is really all about. Cheshire was actually the first province to be formed, and our tercentenary will be celebrated in 2025. Hopefully I'm still in office, but somebody else will take it over if I'm not. I'm often asked why Freemasons are dealt with such suspicion, and why, when you look on the website, you tend to read all about conspiracy theories, none of which I've ever experienced in practice. I think the answer is it's our fault, really. We've been too quiet about what it is that we do. After the war, people used to keep it a secret that they actually were a Freemason. Now, we do have private ceremonies that we do, which we'll talk about later. But the fact that anybody is a Freemasonry is certainly not a secret. I publish the fact that I'm a Freemason on my LinkedIn site. I'm doing this video, so I'm making the point that there's nothing secret about being a Freemason. But I do think that our habit in keeping that a secret, certainly since the Second World War, until fairly recently, has been very damaging to us. If you don't say anything, the press is free to report whatever it is that they like. So it's about time we started telling them what we do, and then hopefully the truth will win over everybody. When people say that we hide ourselves, I'm just curious to know where exactly it is that they think we hide. I've already referred to the website, cheshiremasons.co.uk. There's the UGLE website as well, which is open to people. We have a Twitter feed, we're on Facebook. My details are on LinkedIn. The fact that I'm the head of Freemasons in Cheshire, I had to use the word CEO because that's the only thing that LinkedIn understood, but nevertheless it's all there on LinkedIn. So I'm not quite sure where it is that people think we're hiding. The only things that we do keep secret, or I prefer to use the word private, are our ceremonies. Now the ceremonies, and there's no secret about what they are, they're little morality plays. They're done by memory, by members of the lodge, and they make a profound impact on somebody who hasn't heard them before. That's why we keep them private, just in order to maintain that impact. If I was going to get you to try and read a detective novel, and I told you who did it, in order to get you to try and read it, I think I'd probably have spoiled the effect. And it's exactly the same thing with our ceremonies. We just like to keep them private. If you really want to know, you can look on the internet, you can go to the British Library, all the words are there that you'll see. I'd urge you not to do that, because if you do join us, it'll spoil the impact. And that really is the only thing that is secret about Freemasonry. The Masonic Charitable Foundation is our central charity. We also have our own charity here in Cheshire, Cheshire Freemasons Charity. But the Masonic Charitable Foundation has got assets under management of about £500 million. It's a very, very substantial charity. I think in the last year it's donated nearly £19 million. About £14 million of that went to what we might call supporting Masons and supporting their dependents, their children. We run care homes, we support poorly people, we support children whose parents have fallen on hard times. But we also give to the wider community. About £4.5 million went to supporting, again, medical research, hospices, air ambulances. The Masonic charity is always the first, or often the first, to support in the case of a disaster overseas. We just sent £50,000 to Haiti to support the relief efforts there, because we're able to move very quickly. Often the first money that the Red Cross gets in any such disaster is actually from the Masonic Charitable Foundation. Here in Cheshire, our own charity obviously supports local people, local Cheshire Masons, but also non-Masons as well. When the Bosley Mill disaster happened, we very quickly gave £10,000 to help the relatives who'd suffered an appalling loss in that tragedy. And when PC Dave Allred was tragically killed just before our annual general meeting in Wallasey, we sent £2,000 to the appeal fund there to help as well. So we very, very wide-ranging support for Masons, but also for non-Masons. Well, I think Freemasonry has even more relevance today than it ever did, and that ranges from the young person joining to older people joining. I know it has relevance for younger people because we have a very, very active university scheme throughout Freemasonry, and large numbers of people are joining through that university scheme while they're still at university. It provides a moral code. It introduces them to people who are like-minded, decent people who can be supportive in a social sense if they need that support, to older people where loneliness is becoming an increasing issue. Then Freemasonry provides camaraderie and comradeship, so people joining in their 40s and 50s will find friendship and companionship in Freemasonry. So I think it's even more relevant today. I'd say the other thing that Freemasonry offers that very few other organisations do is mixing between religions, between colours. We're completely religion blind, colour blind. You'll mix with people of different religions, different colours, and different businesses, different everything, which is something I think that Freemasonry does that very few other voluntary organisations can provide. I'm often asked, what does Freemasonry have for younger people? Also, what does Freemasonry have for older people? Well, for younger people, firstly, I know it's attractive because people are joining through our university scheme, but I think the modern age, of course, has younger people moving all over the country, indeed all over the world, in order to seek out the job opportunities. And Freemasonry is a national and international organisation. So if you are uprooted and moved to another city anywhere, you can find a Freemasons lodge there. You can walk in and instantly you've got friends in a place where you may never have been before. Looking at older people are suffering sometimes from loneliness or just time on their hands. Freemasonry offers camaraderie. It offers an interest, something to do that keeps your mind active, and basically just introduces you to another group of people like yourself that you wouldn't otherwise have had the chance to meet.
Really nice.
Just to show that Freemasonry is moving on to help older people and their requirements. Freemasons lodges usually meet in evenings, but lodges are now being formed that meet during the day, that meet at lunchtime, because this suits older people better. Transport is easier. They don't want to get home when it's dark. So Freemasonry moves with its members, moves with the times. Some people also tell me that Freemasonry is a WASP organisation, and that nothing could be further from the truth. Firstly, we are specifically prohibited from discussing religion or politics at our meetings. The only requirement of somebody joining is that they should believe in a supreme being, but we have people who believe in Allah, in God, by whatever name called. So we have all religions, we have all political backgrounds, all business backgrounds. You'll meet everybody in Freemasonry, and you certainly won't discuss politics and you won't discuss religion, and no racy jokes either at the social board. People are asking how we're celebrating the 300th anniversary of Grand Lodge. I should just say, by the way, it's not the 300th anniversary of Freemasonry. Freemasonry has been around for longer than 300 years. We're not quite sure how long it's been around. But Grand Lodge was formed 300 years ago in June 2017. And obviously that's a great cause for celebration. So we're having main events in London at the Royal Albert Hall, where our Grand Master, the Duke of Kent, will preside, and then after that there's a banquet at Battersea Evolution. So that's the central event that's taking place in London. But each province is also having its very own events. We'll be having lots of them all up and down the province, but our main two events in the province of Cheshire, the central one will be at Chester Cathedral on 10th of June 2017, which will be a splendid affair where we'll be in our regalia. And we're also having an event on the 7th of May at my synagogue in Wicker Lane in Hale. There will be other events up and down the province which are being planned by each individual area, but it'll be a year of celebration, culminating in the Royal Albert Hall on the 31st of October. I'm often asked, what is Freemasonry? And it's a difficult question to answer because it means a lot of different things to different people. But the most succinct answer I can find is that it's an organisation, it's a fraternity that cuts across class, it cuts across generation, it cuts across religion, it cuts across types of business, cuts across race, and frankly, I can't think of any other organisation that does all of those things. I hope that's given you an insight into Freemasonry in Cheshire. If you want to know more, please go to our website, cheshiremasons.co.uk.